This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello and welcome to the Boundary Park alert system with me, Matt Dean. I don't know what episode it is. Doesn't matter, does it? It's this week's episode. I'm joined again, unfortunately, by Sexy Dave Bradley because Andy Halliwell's on holiday. All right, Dave.
Hello.
You all right?
Yeah. Good. You?
Yeah. Literally just back from down south after the weekend away, down at Wealdstone.
Very nice.
Yeah. And also down there was the fan guest who I bumped into briefly as we parked up and walked into the ground. How are you doing, Christian? Welcome back to the pod. You've been on before.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It was a lovely day yesterday to watch a game of football, wasn't it?
It was nice, really nice. I was in the car. I got a text from my mate and earlier on from Matt Buzzer, who wrote the Latic Mind theme tune and recorded it as well. I must add. But so I checked it when I got back up here, and it was a little snippet from the Daily Mail. And apparently, Oldham has been the coldest place in England this summer. So the coldest and wettest. And honestly, I've just got back up here now. I'm sat in my office. I've got a blanket over my knees. I was outside and it was freezing in the car park to the mill. It was like cold wind. It's just nothing like what it was yesterday. Yesterday was absolutely glorious, wasn't it? Down in North London.
Well, if I could just pitch in there, I've just got back from an 11-a-side team. I've just got back into it myself. And the first half, it was quite cool. Second half, it started to warm up. And I'm telling you now, if the players had to play in that sort of heat and even hotter yesterday, to me, it's no surprise that it was quite, quiet throughout the match because it was difficult. Really difficult. It
was really, really hot, wasn't it? That sun was just beating down. There was not a cloud in the sky. It was directly above the pitch, and it was just there was no hiding place. And so, yeah, Dave, you watched it on TV or on a stream or whatever. I mean, I think it's slightly different when you watch it live and everything else. I mean, it's one of those grounds. I was right down at the front on the barrier, so he's at proper pitch level. I think Brad pointed out on Twitter, I also mentioned it when I was chatting to him at half-time, that they didn't water the pitch at all. It was a very, very hot day. It was very dry. Plenty of grass on the pitch, but the ball didn't zip about on it. It wasn't frenetic. I kind of, walking into the ground, kind of got the feeling it might have that kind of pre-season friendly kind of vibe to it because of the heat. And it kind of went in sort of like, in like you'd expect on such a hot day, Christian, didn't it? It was kind of like we had the ball for a bit and we went at them for a bit and then they had the ball for a bit, went at us a bit. It was a bit like that one, a bit tit for tat sort of, but without any kind of real thrust or cutting edge from either side for most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I remember the first 10 minutes we were more at it, and it was almost as though Mellon said to him, "Hang on a minute, lads, it's a bit warm here. You can't do this all game. Just settle down a little bit." But I do remember the first 10 minutes was a bit more intense, and then they just sort of like sat off a bit more.
How did it look, Dave, on the telly?
Do you know what it looked like on TV? It looked like we come in a very organised way, and they were like the first 10 minutes. National League TV streaming only came on after about 20 minutes, but from what I could hear on the radio, they were playing really, really organised and patient build-up play. Gardner and Conlon were trying to do the diagonals for the most of it, and then I think that as the game went on in the first half, Wealdstone sort of sussed us out because every time we tried to pump it up on the diagonal, that cook for them kept on leaving his central position because he had that Mariappa behind him. Because I thought that Adrian Mariappa was absolutely outstanding for them yesterday. You could tell that he's like he played for Salford last season. He's played for 268 games for Watford, and he had Fond up in his pocket. And it was only when they brought Kay on, it sort of give him something, that Mariappa, something else to think about, because it sort of evened up Charnsley and made Fond up sort of play the wider position. But they still played the footballing game, Wealdstone, from what they usually do, patient build-up play. They could have punished us in the first half. We had like an unlucky shot from Charnsley just go wide. But you could tell the conditions were very hard. But I think Mellon said in an interview, didn't he, that the grass was too long. You could tell the run of the ball was very slow. So they'd obviously seen what we were about, and they probably grew the grass, not watered the pitch, because they knew that we were going to play it on the deck. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of Matty's there. There's no mug, is he? He's a league manager, and now he's there, isn't he? So
it was like you say, you look at the pitch and like from a distance, and it was like, it looks all right, that. But when you watch them play on it, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't sort of as nice a pitch as you might have thought it was on first inspection, and it did. I think it did affect the game a bit. It was frustrating. It was quite a frustrating game to watch at times, wasn't it, Christian? Like, and you know, the fans had come down on en masse. I think I've not seen an official number. I think in the interview after, Alan mentioned around about 600, which I think is probably about right.
Well, I'd heard 450 before. I think the Friday night, but there was definitely more than that there.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was. Let's have a listen to that interview actually from Mickey Mellon, and then we'll take it from there.
Mickey, a late win this afternoon. What qualities were needed to get those 3 points?
Oh, loads. I mean, it's a really difficult afternoon to play. I think you've seen with the tempo of the game right from the start. It is absolutely roasting. I think the supporters that have come down today will vouch for that. So it was a really difficult day. And I just said to the players there, the important thing is it's only difficult days when it isn't your game of your dreams. You go and get that victory, you go and get that win, and that's a sign of a team definitely moving in the right direction. The squad, the players who come on and supplemented the team that started the game, all did their jobs, all did fantastic. But one of the biggest things for me today that I absolutely noticed, I want to thank the fans, because you didn't get frustrated. You stuck with us. You got it. You got that it was a sticky afternoon. It was going to be difficult. You showed your football knowledge. It was really pleasing to see. You showed your football knowledge, and you knew that eventually we would get a bit of quality, and it would be about us taking it, and we did that. So I'm delighted about that. So all in all, supporters and the players take all the credit. It's a really important win for us, and we get up the road now safely.
It's always a difficult place to come, this, to keep going right to the very end and to seal the win right at the end. What does it say about the battling characteristics in this team?
I just thought that we sat at a tempo. We showed our fitness levels in difficult conditions, and as the game wore on, we looked stronger and stronger, and I just thought at some stage we're going to get a break here where we're going to be asked to show our quality, and we managed to do that, and scored a really good goal. Was really pleased to see it going in. But yeah, a really nice day. Now we can say it's a really nice day in the sunshine, but during it was absolutely roasting. It was a tough afternoon.
You mentioned it was a really good goal, and for the second week running, Harry, who's obviously signed in the summer, has come up trumps, hasn't he?
Yeah, a brilliant header. Great work from Michael, and it was a great move before it. We showed some real good qualities before that to get ourselves into a good position. Michael shows his strength and puts a brilliant ball across, and yeah, Harry scores a great diving header. It was a really good goal, so I'm really happy.
You mentioned the substitutions. How much an important role did they play in giving us the ability to kick on at the end?
Well, you'll only be as good as your squad. You really will only be as good as your squad. And we showed today how the importance of the guys being game ready and coming on and performing like they did. And we're going to need more of that. It's a long season, and in difficult games like that, you're looking behind you and you want to be able to see people who you think can fit the job that's needed to do. And the boys were able to do that. They brought energy and quality to what we already did, and managed to get us over the line.
Just to finish off, you mentioned the supporters, 600 of them today. Obviously, terrific scenes at the end, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be curry favour here. They showed their football intelligence today. I didn't hear, and I know it's difficult. Football's difficult, but they really got it today. They understood this is a really. They looked at the situation and they went, difficult conditions. Grass is long, pitch is sticky, but they believed in us, and they stuck with us, and they kept supporting us, and that was really important. That kept the players going. And when we did get the winner, it was brilliant to see them celebrating, because honestly I thought that they were terrific in the way that their football knowledge and the way that they understood that what we needed from them, and they delivered. So no, really pleased.
Well done this afternoon.
Thank you, Al.
I think that Mickey kind of summed up everything that we'd like to talk about in this podcast in like just over 3 minutes there, didn't he? He really hit the nail on the head in that interview, I think. Summarised the whole afternoon. So thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you on Wednesday for the football phone-in.
Hey.
Obviously, not really. But the on the performance of the team, you mentioned Kay coming on there earlier on, Dave. I thought he looked really lively when he came on. I think Conlon yesterday, although he didn't sort of dictate the game with the ball as much as he would have liked to, his work rate, and he demanded the ball all the time. He really put his mark on the game. He got booked early on, but it didn't stop his commitment. He was everywhere. He was chasing everything down right to the last minute. Raglan for me yesterday was absolutely immense. That block he did was a goal. You saw it, Christian, when he came into and the guy took a touch. I thought, this is in. This is a goal, and he slid in and he blocked it. Absolutely superb. And he was like the main central defender. The other two central defenders, Hobson and Month, were like just playing sort of like much further away from him, and he was that central man, and he bossed it. And it was just a really, really solid, ugly, gritty, determined performance. And I mean, I know, like Mickey said, that we knew that we were going to have a moment of quality. I didn't know it. I hoped it. I hoped that was what was going to happen. I think I fancied us more than them. I didn't fancy us to concede, but I reckon we might nick one. I was chatting to Ryan Hamer at half time saying, because I said that maybe if we'd scored early on, we might have gone on and won the game a bit more comfortably. But as the game went on, it was like, no, this is 0-0 or a 1-0 all day long. And I was just really pleased. It wasn't a feast of football. It wasn't a spectacle. It wasn't any particularly enjoyable game. But God, it was worth it when that goal went in. What an atmosphere in the away end, Christian.
Yeah, I think that's something that on appearances we definitely look like we've got in our locker now. We've got the ability to win ugly, but by doing that, because I know we won a few games ugly last season. But last season, you always felt that when we won ugly, we were hanging on. This season, or yesterday, we won ugly, but we never looked like we were going to lose the game. And I think that's the difference this season. Every inch this season, we look like we could go on to win this league just because we've got that in our locker now. We can be at, what would you say, 70% yesterday, and we still never looked like losing, and we were away from home. You know, that's a game. I mean, last season we won a lot of games away from home, but I feel as though if that was last season, we may have won it, but we'd have been hanging on. We weren't hanging on at any point. It was comfortable. That's how I felt about it anyway.
From watching it on TV, do you know when you see like a really good Premiership team against a team that's just come up? They're just in control. They play well. Although it was a slow-paced game, Oldham were being a lot more creative and letting Wealdstone have the possession because they wanted to tire them out. And there's two occasions, obviously, the block from Raglan and that lad just had like a P-roller towards Hudson. Now, last season, they wouldn't have had the defence there, but Monthe was close to him. He was always there. Going back to Conlon, their commentary team give him man of the match because no matter wherever the ball dropped yesterday, he was there no matter what. He was so busy off the ball to try and get back. I felt that when Gardner went off, it sort of freed him up to have a bit more of a free rein in the midfield and let Kerr do all the attacking.
Yeah, because they were kind of quiet as a pair, weren't they, today? Yeah. Yesterday, Gardner and Conlon. But like you said, once Gardner went off, yeah. And
just to go back to, I thought Ogle was a pretty quiet as well, but they brought on Capri. They brought on Caprice, and I thought that he really showed up that sort of attacking, going forward, with Jez on the other side because he wanted to advance all the time. Also, the one for me was, as you say, Raglan. He was a brick wall, weren't he? There was no panicking, no matter what. Even when we conceded a corner, the fans weren't being worried. Everything was so self-assured. And Matt Hudson's distribution and catching, everything about the performance was just like, you knew that there was only one team going to win it in that game. There was never any nervousness. We went close just before we scored when I think Monte put the ball across the net, and I think Fondop was just getting there, and it just went out. And I thought, yeah, we're going to do this. Fondop as well. Kaz took me out off to the lad. He didn't stop running. He was just
most of it for that game was fruitless as well. It was just working the defenders, working it, and going and do not getting the ball, not getting on the end of things. But like at the end with the goal, he was rewarded for that because, like you say, he just didn't stop.
I think when you sit deeper against Fondop, he's not as effective, but. Nevertheless, he still occupies a defender, so he still makes it hard for the defender. Whether or not you see him get on the ball or score a goal, he makes it hard for defenders. But I felt what happened was when we went a goal up yesterday, they had to come forwards, and then Fondop kept getting him in behind him. So it shows you how deep they were to start with. But they did try and thwart us. That long ball to Jez and to Ogle, I think a lot of the reason why that didn't come off was they were so deep all game, and they just soaked it up because they knew that was coming. But you could see it. You could see it a mile off. As soon as we scored, they had to come up the pitch, and we had so much more room.
Yeah. That's why I guess I thought that if we'd have got a goal early on, that we might have won that game a little bit more comfortably. Because I think, you said, once we had that goal, we looked more likely to get another one. And obviously, the sending off, if he hadn't have got sent off, we probably would have scored another one, and it would have been a lot more comfortable. I mean, two goals, 2 games, two wins, 2 clean sheets, and being at these little grounds like this, and being like right on the front row like that, so close, literally, 10 feet from the goal and the goalkeeper and the defenders in the second half. It gives you a very different perspective. I mean, I'm usually at the back of the Rochdale Road end, so much further away. We're just able to feed off the composure and the authority and how the defensive unit yesterday was so composed. They looked in control. They were confident. The communication between the keeper and the defenders was minimal but effective. It was just they didn't need to be at each other all the time. They all knew what they were supposed to be doing. Yeah. It was just I just felt really confident when they were getting corners and throw-ins and things like that late in the game. I was like, they can handle it. Fondop was getting in there and doing big headers. Everybody was just doing their job, and they looked comfortable. And those 2 clean sheets now in the first 2 games, it really is like very, very encouraging. That one, Dave.
Do you know the last time we won 2 home games with 2 opening games with 2 clean sheets? You know how long ago that was?
Was it the 1916-17 season?
1986-87, 38 years ago.
Was it? Wow. And that was the year we finished 3rd, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
And we lost in the playoff final. Playoff semis to Leeds.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say is that Conlon was a very lucky guy to stay on the pitch because he got booked and then he fouled that lad, and it was a clear yellow card. And the referee, I think he just showed his bit of, because he was the captain, he put his arms up straight away, put his arm over the player, and put his arm over the referee. He said, "Look, ref, you could see him pleading with, look, I'm really sorry." And he showed his experience as a captain. I saw Duxbury do that so many times when he was on a yellow, and he'd be like, "Ref,"
But
I do like, the way he's sort of come into this captain's role, because he was doing all the running that other people weren't. At one point, I think Kitchen had just come on, and it was Conlon who was at the corner.
When he was shielding it with 10 minutes to go.
He gave Kitchen an absolute rollicking, saying, "Why are you not getting back? Why are you not getting back?" But he didn't stop. And you've got to think as well, they had 12 minutes of injury time as well. Yeah. And I just thought, oh my, because of whatever happened in the crowd, I hope the guy's all right. But goodness me, like that seemed like on a hot day when they just stood there for 10 minutes straight after the first. Yeah. It's a long time for them just to be, stood around. But I just thought they did really. I didn't think, as I said, going back to Gardner, I don't think Gardner had the best of the games, but I didn't think he did too badly. But I did like the look of Kay. I thought he was superb when he came on. And even Lundstrom, when he came on, he was playing the incisive passes into the channel. you know, and he looks like a different player. He looks a
I
lot
thought
more
Lundstram looked very good when he came on yesterday. Looked very assured in that role. He didn't look nervous. I always felt last season when he had the ball, Lundstram, he just looked a bit nervous, but he looked like you said, different player yesterday.
Yeah, I still think he's got a tendency to want to go backwards when he should be going forwards a bit more. I still think that kind of needs encouraging out of him a little bit. But I think that, like Mickey Mellon was saying in the interview before, I think he was saying that the squad it's different now. Like you mentioned before, Dave, Ogle didn't have the same kind of impact on the game as he did in the first game, and that's just the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? Some games the go for you, some games don't as an individual, and then your manager's got to look at the better. And it was obvious yesterday what was going to happen. That was always going to be the substitution, the first substitution, Ogle for Caprice, because it was crying out for it, and it made a difference. It really did make. And how many times last season and the season before have you been looking at the pitch, you're looking at the game, thinking, We've got nothing that's going to really impact the game here. We can bring such and such on and take such and such off, but it's not really going to change anything. But Kay came on as well yesterday, was an absolute handful. He looks like a ball of energy. Hammond and Charsley, bundles of energy, running around doing all. There's a very, very different attitude. The mentality won the game yesterday. That it was mentally, the mental toughness of that team won the game, and also the bravery of Harry Charsley, because that was a brave header. It really was a brave header. And a bit of luck as well, because looping diving headers aren't something that you necessarily score.
I think aim on the back of the head. It was like I don't want to say the name, but a Welsh striker who scored against us in the 1993-94 semi-final for Manchester United.
Never happened.
It was Hughes-esque. It was putting your head where you didn't want to put it, and he was up against Mariappa as well, who's an ex-Premier League defender. And I tell you what, it was absolutely out. As soon as he hit it, I said that's going in, and it just bobbled over. It must have felt like a lifetime for you boys at the other end, but
and the keeper was like, because the keeper looked like, is the keeper going to get it or what? Like, and then he saw it. He saw it hit the side of the net, and I saw the net bulge out with it, and that was when I knew it had gone in. And then it was just pandemonium in the away, and then and like Mellon said, I mean, I think probably. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but maybe the away following is sometimes a little bit more patient, if you like, with teams than maybe the main stand, for example. But annoying all the main stand listeners here, but you know what I mean. I mean, at times the away support has let its feelings be known, but there was no need to panic yesterday, and I think we were all sort of like there. We did appreciate how difficult the conditions were and the game was, and if we'd have left 0-0. You'd say you win your own games, take a part on the road. It's a difficult place to go and all that. And we'd have taken it. You'd have gone, okay, we got Fylde on Tuesday, beat Fylde, 7 points out of 9. You'd be delighted with that as a start. Yeah. But the players yesterday showed us that they've got what it takes in terms of the effort and the desire. Like you said about Fondop, running, put the ball in. Charsley, right at the end of a very, very long game, busting a gut to get in there and throw himself at the ball. It's a different. I just think there's a. If you cut some of these players open now, there's a big double M inside them like rock. Mickey Mellon is in there. He's got what he wants in his players, and it's different.
I feel like last season, an hour before the match, you were wondering what the lineup were going to be. And I never felt at one point last season like we knew our best 11. I already, after 2 games, feel I know our first 8. As in, you take Fondop out and maybe the front 2 cams. The 8 behind them, I feel like they could play every game of the season. Particularly the back 3. You look at the back 3 defenders. They could play every game of the season. And then you've got your left back, your right back, left wing back, right wing back, whatever you want to play. The two oldie midfielders, Conlon and Gardner. So
would you put Kane though? After that, you've got to put Kane.
But I think
there's options, and that's what you got to do. If we are going for promotion, we need options. There's going to be times when Gardner just isn't going to be able to play. He's not going to be fit enough. Whether or not he gets injured is another thing, but he's not going to be fit enough to play. So we need those options. There'll be times when Jez can't play down the left or Ogle can't play. So it's a difficult role. But we've got options. We've got Kitchen. We've got Caprice. These are players we didn't have last season. We didn't have those options.
Do you know the other thing as well about the defenders? Last season and the season before, they were like diving in for last-ditch tackles. Now, I know we've played Wealdstone, we've played Braintree, but they look like they've played together for years. There's no panic, is there? Like at one point, Manny Monty got turned, and there was Raglan straight away, and then there's Hobson as well. Like Hobson was our standout defender last season. Raglan was hit and miss, weren't he? That's fair to say, because I don't think he was in his right position, because it was always Horgan at the centre of the three, wasn't it? And if we did, and then we went to a 4. But Raglan looks so comfortable in that position now, and Hobson, they're not diving in, they're not panicking, they're playing it, they're playing football, they want to drive forward. It's like remnants of like Hill and Fitzall, Clint Hill and Fitzall. Yeah. Do you know that defence? Like you had Armstrong, you had Michael Clegg, you had Fitzall, and you had Clint Hill. That was a solid back 4, wasn't it?
It is reminiscent of that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah. It was like really
that month. Really nice. I don't know where Mellon has plucked that signing from, but he's maybe the best centre half. He's maybe the best centre half I've seen at Oldham in a decade. Like, I'll put that out there. From what I've seen him, I know it's only 2 games, but he's some player. He's got everything. He's physical. He's good in the air. But he can play as well.
He's comfortable with the ball as well, isn't he? He's happy with the ball. Yeah, he's happy with the ball at his feet. And he likes to get forward a bit as well. He's fine. I mean, he was playing as a left winger at some point. Yeah, he was, yeah. And he's bloody big and all. I mean, when you see him next to you, Mike Fondop's not a small lad, but you see he's standing next to Mike and he's a big lad. So there's that. Yeah. That's the thing. Like when we were defending the box at the end of the game, there was a big physical presence in there. Hobson, Raglan, and the 2 lads we just mentioned really put themselves about. And yeah, I was excited by what I saw from Kay because I liked his energy. I liked how he just chased everything down and got involved, and he looks like he's going to be a good player. I think, with the formations, with the strikers we've got to come back, it's going to be really, really interesting. But there's competition
now. We really are.
And but we've got that competition, haven't we? Kitchen didn't have any competition at all last season, and that's not good for him. It's not good for the team. So now it's a different kettle of fish. We've genuinely got some competition for places, and it might not be it. We might bring another 1 or 2 players in just to bolster it, because look, this is the first time now. I know we've only played 2 games, and I'm really glad we've got a game on Tuesday now against another bogey team in Fylde, because it gives us a chance to put that to bed, the Fylde thing, beat them. But then 3 wins on the bounce, 9 points out of 9 potentially. This is genuinely then starting to look, as early as it is, like, okay, this is the season now where we can start really, the manager and the team and the squad and the owners say, maybe they've invested, not invested too early, but it wasn't everything wasn't right, was it, for promotion?
It was desperation.
Last season? It wasn't right the season before.
Desperation.
Yeah. But we needed it needed that time to build to where it's at now. It's just because time, it's sort of a process, isn't it? But this season now, it looks like, the resources could be put into it this season if they are available to get it over the line and get us in there. Because the way we've started, it's looking like we'll be in the top regions of the division. Hopefully.
I think this Tuesday night is a big yardstick, because this is massive. Last season we could have gone to Wealdstone and got the same result, but we would have lost on the Tuesday. Regardless of how we played on the Saturday, we'd have had McGay in the team, Gardner in the team, Norwood in the team, who, when they're on 100%, they're great players, but they can't play twice a week at that intensity. And last time I was on, it was Rochdale away, and I said I think we'll struggle against Fylde just on a fitness basis. But I just feel that this team this season, there's so many more athletes in there. But we'll see. We should be beating Fylde at home. We should be.
It's interesting it's interesting when you were on, actually, thinking back now and thinking about it, when because that was Mellon's second game. It was his first win. The game before that was Fylde away. So Mellon's first game was Fylde away, wasn't it? And then Rochdale, am I right in thinking that?
No, it was the other way around.
Was it the other way around?
Then it was Fylde, yeah. It was Fylde on the Tuesday.
And it was that chalk and cheese, wasn't it, thing that we just
dead
mentioned.
On our feet.
Yeah, it was just like, we had, and we had the derby game and the big crowd, and it kind of carried us through. And then the Tuesday night at Fylde was just absolutely abysmal. But it feels, and we know that the team has progressed, and it feels like we've come a long way. But Fylde have conceded 6 goals in their first 2 games, and we've kept 2 clean sheets and scored 4. So there's every reason to be confident going into the game on Tuesday night, and that old typical Oldham thing has got to change now. It's like, typical Oldham. We beat Fylde because
Nick Horton scored 5. Nick Horton scored 5 in 2. So stop Nick Horton, you stop Fylde. As simple as that.
But you feel now that we've got the ability to do that, don't you? Within the squad, you feel like that now that because Mellon's obviously going to be, and Brabham and the coaching team are going to be looking at Fylde now. They've got that game out of the way. Obviously, that's going to be a big part of it. Stop him, and he was a bit of a wanker, wasn't he? When last season he scored a penalty, and he was being a bit of a gobshite when he winding us all up. So
I like that. I like that.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't blame him, but from our point of view, we want to put him in a box and shut him up this time, don't we? So that it's all set up for that, and but I've got confidence that the lads will be in training tomorrow, and they'll be right. Okay, we've got a couple of days. This is how we're going to beat Fylde. This is what we need to do. And come Tuesday, they'll do what they've been instructed to do. They'll do what they've been doing in training. And it just feels now like, I've got confidence in the manager and the training staff and the players. And it's just a very, very, very different feeling to what we've had for the last 4 seasons while we've been doing this podcast.
I'm interested to see what Mellon's going to do with Gardner. And the reason I say that is because that's 2 games now. He's got to play a Saturday, Tuesday, but don't forget, next Saturday, and then we've got to play the next Monday. Now, I can't see Gardner playing all of those games.
Well, Kay's back now, isn't he? So, sorry, I'm just
so
saying.
Do you think Gardner gets dropped, or do you think Gardner plays half and then Kay comes on?
They'll rest him. Kay will want to play against his ex-team, won't he? He'll want to prove a point. After his performance, I know it was only, he still played. He came on about 70 minutes, so he still played half an hour, didn't he? Because he had that 12 minutes of injury time. He'll want to play. He'll want to prove a point, because I think he was criticised quite virulently by the Fylde fans. Why do you want to go to Oldham? We're a bigger club and that sort of thing. He'll be really wanting to prove a point. You know what I mean? And we've got to attack Fylde. We can't sit back against Fylde. We've got to attack them and get the home crowd behind us. And if there's anyone who's thinking, I might go Tuesday, and I'm not sure it's Tuesday night, get your ass to Boundary Park and make it a fortress like Braintree. Be loud, get on the referees' back, get on the players' back, and make it a fortress.
On their players, not ours, though, yeah?
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like it was at Braintree, yeah.
We are turning a corner. We are turning a corner, and hopefully, we can. If it's 3 wins out of 3, goodness me, they'll be ringing up stops, won't they? Getting the promotion bus sorted, won't they?
Yeah, but I mean, why not?
It does feel a bit different this season, though.
Yeah, it does, and it's that everything permeates through everything else. We look at this in detail, and we look at it from a big, from a further vantage point where we try and look at everything. The reason why things are working now and things are starting to look a bit more, we're looking like like Andy says, a proper football club, is because of all the work that's been going on in the background, with the owners and with Darren and everybody running the club. Over the last couple of seasons, the change at the club is absolutely massive, and you've got to get the off-field stuff right for the on-field stuff to work. And we can, and there is decades of examples at Boundary Park that back that up, that prove that, and no more so than 2018 to 2022. It was obvious that the lack of organisation, vision, preparation, investment, all the things that weren't happening under the previous owners led to an absolute shambles on the pitch. And now in 2 short years, we've got things off the pitch improved drastically. And now in the 3rd season in the National League, the 3rd season under the ownership, it's starting to come together. And look, we are allowing ourselves to dream now, and that feels like a privilege in itself, because we've not really been able to. We've been letting our hearts rule our heads a lot of the time over the last couple of seasons, because we just want to believe that things were going to say, we might get promotion, and maybe we'll make the playoffs, blah blah blah. But now there's actual evidence. When Mickey Mellon talks like that, like really good interview, really, like I said, really succinct and described everything so well in 3 minutes. But things have changed, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to be a long, hard season. Teams, they peak and they dip, and things, everything changes. Injuries, suspensions, the whole lot.
Yeah.
A big club like Fylde might come in for one of our players. You never.
Well, we won't be able to keep hold of them then, will we?
Liam Hogan is available.
So but there's a long, long way to go. But like you said, Christian, Tuesday night is, and you're right, Dave. Get down to Boundary Park. Tuesday night, it's going to be mint. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so glad that the next game rolls around so quickly. Even though yesterday wasn't a classic, as soon as that goal went in, and as soon as the whistle goes, we come away with 3 points, you're buzzing. You're walking away with a big smile on your face because you've won the game, and that is all that matters. That is all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I think good to get the good times going again at Boundary Park. You know what I mean? If we can get an extra 1,000 on the gate, it should be decent anyway. I think the weather's going to be nice as well. It's not your typical Tuesday night after Christmas, is it? It's going to be warm, isn't it? Look at the weather now. It's a Tuesday night under the lights at Boundary Park in this weather.
Brilliant.
It's a delight, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kids are on school holidays. Maybe the club should do I don't know, take 2 kids, get one in for free. I don't know, just to fill up the crowd. You know what I mean?
It's a long season, isn't it? But I feel as though these first 10 games this season, if we can get on a good run, get like I say, another 1,000 on the gate, that could really build our season, because if we can get our own form right and we got the crowd on our side, it's really, really going to help.
Well, we look at the next 3 games. So we've got Fylde on Tuesday, which we've talked about, and we've failed to beat Fylde last season in our first 2 professional games ever against them. Then we've got Aldershot away on Saturday. And last season, do you remember last season at Aldershot? What was the score last season? Was it
3-0? I think.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really tough game when it wasn't pleasant because we beat them, didn't we, 5-1 in the first home game of the season, and then got hammered down there. So that's going to be interesting. And then Gateshead, which so they've started the season really well.
Yeah,
we started the season really well. Eastleigh have as well, but go on, mate. What?
Gateshead have just lost one of their central midfielders. Oh, it was.
It sounded horrendous.
Oh,
I've not seen it.
But yeah.
The referee. Oh my god! Literally, he got tackled. He got like scissor tackled, and he was riling around the floor. Referee saying play on, play on, play on, and the physio just had to run on because he'd snapped his ankle. It's like a 3-break compound fracture. They had the screens up and everything. They had to get an ambulance on the pitch. The ball had come through his leg, I think.
Oh,
and the referee had just waved it on. You know what I mean? It's bad. The referee yesterday, when I watched it, he was very much all for Oldham. Don't get me wrong, but if we were like Wealdstone fans, could be very, very frustrated by some of the decisions. Like I said, Conlon getting sent off. That one.
He was wearing tangerine though, wasn't he, yesterday? So he's showing his allegiances, weren't he?
It was just that penalty call towards the end, because I thought that he got a kick there, player, when he went down. I did think it was a penalty, and the referee didn't give it, and then he gave the free kick to us on the edge of the area as we were trying to break. So yeah, we've rode our luck a little bit, but it doesn't mean that the referee who comes on Tuesday should be unbiased towards Oldham either. So. Yeah,
well, it's all these little things, though, innit, that tend to come together. Like, you do need to ride your luck when everything's against you. everything seems to be against you. All the decisions go against you. The refs against you. The pitch is against you. The wind's against you. Everything's against you. But when things are going for you, you get these little breaks, and it's. I mean, winning on Tuesday would be fantastic. Aldershot, you'd probably say that, you know, again, like if we win, brilliant. You take a draw on the road, and then
I'd take a draw there.
and then you've got Gateshead at home, and then it's a big game, and we'll see how Gateshead get on in the next couple of games. Like you said, Dave, their play might, you know, that injured play might make a difference, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to be going into that. Hopefully that Gateshead game, you know, up there and it already being a big game early on in the season, because that's the kind of thing that does get fans in. Bank holiday weekend, top of the table clash potentially. Whoever wins this is going to be top of the league. that we've not had that after sort of 5 games, have we, for a long time? And then we go to Altrincham the week after. We got smashed 5-0 by Sutton yesterday.
Sutton, 4-0 at half time as well.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's, you know, it couldn't happen to a nicer club. But no, I think the other thing is, I was watching this. I'm going to mention Tranmere, so I've mentioned Mark Hughes, and I'm mentioning Tranmere. There's a Tranmere podcast with James Norwood on. Although Norwood won't come on our bloody podcast, he went on there. So if you see him, just give him a load of shit, fans, if you would. But not when he's not when he's.
I give him a load of shit every week. So,
but anyway, okay. he was saying that it got to the point where in their season when they were playing with Tranmere when they got promoted, Mickey Mellon just didn't even have to give them team talks. He just said, "Just go out and win, lads. You know what to do." Because the squad was that together, and all this. And I think Monte was in that squad as well, Manny Month. So if we can get to that point where he's just going like, lads, it's, I don't know, Forest Green, just go and win it. You know what I mean? And if we can get to that point, and I think that's his sort of style, we can get there, but we shall see.
Well, I mean, you know, absolute legend of the game and one of our shared favourites, Brian Clough, Dave. He wasn't exactly a man of many words in the changing rooms when he had his most successful teams, was he? Either you've done all the work. If you've done all the work properly in the build up to the game, like. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Have confidence in the players and the leaders on the pitch, and we are seeing that, aren't we? We're seeing the leaders on the pitch that we've not had it for a long time, but they're numerous now. There's not just one captain. There's 3 or 4 players on that pitch that would easily step into the role of captain, and that's great to see.
Yeah, well, you can see what we're doing.
Clough would have loved that header. Would have loved that header winner yesterday, because he always said about strikers, score a diving header because it looks better. So
it does.
It does. It was such a good header. It was a great cross and great endeavour by Fondop to get there as well, because he started the. I think was it Lundstrom who started the pass? It was Lundstrom who played the pass to Caprice, who then passed it to Fondop on the overlap. And it was the first time that he'd gone wide, and that ball was a cracking ball in, you know. Watching it on the telly, it's a great goal.
Definitely a Latic Mind question. Who's the last Latics player to score a diving header? Because I can't remember us scoring a diving header for a while, so I'm sure someone listening will be like, well, Paddy will be like, oh, it was such and such on this, such and such of such and such. You know, but the rest of us,
I'm sure it's got to be Fondop. It's got to be Fondop on it. It's got to be.
I can see him scoring diving headers in my mind. I can see him scoring a diving header to win us the championship at Rochdale in November.
Oh, God.
That's never going to happen, is it? But it'd be nice. Right, before we do Latic's Mind, speaking of which, Christian, just want to mention yesterday, I bumped into Andy Ridgway from Detroit. You know, Detroit Latics.
Oh yeah.
He was at the game yesterday, and unfortunately, he's come over because he's lost his brother Jeff, who passed away, age 66. He was a season ticket holder, and. Yeah, he passed away on the 22nd of July, and it's his funeral on the 19th of August. He was a Higginshaw lad who went to Bluecoat School. So I said I'd give him a shout out on the podcast, both Andy and his brother Jeff, who sadly died. And we're all thinking of Detroit Latics, Andy, especially tomorrow on Monday when you're at the funeral. So there's we've got a big Latics family, and unfortunately that means that we do lose we do lose people as time goes by. But I'm sure that Jeff will be delighted with the way that we've started the season. So thoughts with you, Andy, and on all your family and friends tomorrow. Right. Okay. Well, Christian.
Here we go.
It is the time for Latic Mind.
Sure.
I don't think there's any questions about players who scored diving headers, but if there were, that would be something of a coincidence, wouldn't it? Right. Okay. So if you are ready, Dave, will you keep the scores?
I will.
Thanks very much. All right. Here we go. Which defender did Latics loan from Manchester United in 2012?
Pass.
Which no-nonsense midfielder / defender did Latics loan from Huddersfield in 2010?
Pass.
Which left-sided Irish defender had a spell at Latics in 2008-9?
Pass.
Which... Oh, sorry, they said Irish in thing. Which Irish defender did Latics sign from Forest in 2007?
I can't think. My mind's gone blank.
Okay, let's move on. Who was Andy Ritchie's last league win as Latics manager against?
Bury?
Correct. Who was Latics' top scorer in the FA Cup in 93-94 season?
Sorry, just repeat that, sorry.
Who was Latics' top scorer in the FA Cup in the 93-94 season?
The FA Cup. Don't know.
It was Darren Betford. Which winger did Latics loan from Bristol City in the 1920 season?
From Bristol City?
Yeah. In the 2019/20 season.
Don't know.
Johnny Smith. Old Grounds. Who scored Latics' last goal at White Hart Lane?
No.
That was also Darren Betford.
Right.
Okay, Dave, on the passes. You got one, didn't you? I think that was quite easy to keep track of. But you did better than Adam last week, who got none. Sorry, Adam. Dave, which defender did Latics loan from Manchester United in 2012?
Reece Brown.
Correct. Well done, Dave. Which no-nonsense midfielder / defender did Latics loan from Huddersfield in 2010?
I don't know.
Jim Goodwin.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Stuff. Yeah, I remember him.
Jimmy Goodwin, doesn't Ian Doves? Anyway, which left-sided Irish defender had a spell at Latics in 2008-9?
John... Oh, he's brown hair tall. Not Byrne. Is it Byrne?
I'll stop you. Oh, Richie Byrne.
Oh.
Which Irish... Well, there's a bit of an Irish theme in these last two questions. Which Irish defender did Latics sign from Forest in 2007?
No, this is John. I can't remember his last name. John.
You're right, it is John.
Jon. Oh, I don't know.
John Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's a good defender as well, but he couldn't get in the squad because of Henning and Stam. Yeah. He was
was it the winger Latics loan from Bristol City in the 2019-20 season?
That was, you said Johnny Smith.
Oh, yeah. Did we get that one already? Okay. Well, that's it then. Good effort.
Yeah.
But not good enough.
These questions are, at least listen, the feedback from the supporters on social media and whatnot is these questions they're just wrong. They're evil. They're hard, So yeah. But I guess once we're in, what season are we in now? Season 3 of Latic Mind, so they're only going to get harder, aren't they? I suppose.
We've had that many transfers and loans over the past decade or so that you can't keep track of them all anyway.
I know. It doesn't regularly when we're on this quiz. I'm looking at the names, thinking, don't remember him. Don't remember him. So
when you said those names, didn't remember them.
No. So only the most sadomasochistic of fans who really put themselves through the minute detail of Latics year in, year out will remember these, like Paddy and Paul Prendergast, who Prendergast, not Prendergast, Prendergast. Must remember to get that right. Dave, we'll be back for the phone-in, won't we, on Wednesday?
We will.
You'll be here, won't you?
I will.
I missed you on Wednesday.
It was a good phone-in, actually. You did quite well.
Did I do okay?
Quite well.
Did I make you proud?
Quite proud.
Quite proud. But the thing is, Dave, will we be talking about a win or a draw or a defeat? What's your gut feeling about Tuesday against Fylde?
I hate doing this because if I say it and then we don't do it, it's fuck it, we're going to win.
Yeah? Are you confident?
Emphatically.
In fact, it's Dave saying Scouse.
Emphatically. Were they?
Emphatically. Do you think they've been letting goals in, so,
Oh,
what score? Give us a score, Dave. Give us a score.
3-0.
Oh.
Love a 3-0.
What do you reckon, Christian? Are you as confident as that?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to be a bit more reserved than that. My heart says we're going to win 2-1. My head says it's going to be a draw.
Mm.
You don't think we'll keep the clean sheet up? I think they'll be doing everything to keep that,
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how we line up because we've got a lot of games coming up, and I don't know if Mellon will change things around a bit. I don't know if Kay might start. Don't know.
Yeah, it's early season, isn't it? It's like it's hot. It does take a lot out of you when the amount of effort that's required at this level.
Game, so.
I'll never forget when I went to see houses and we played Fylde on the bank holiday and I weren't there and I texted you. I went, how's it going? You're like 1-0. And then I looked at my phone again to text you back. You're like, it's 2-0. And I was like, and then you text me again. You're like, fucking wank this. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
it wasn't funny. It
wasn't funny when you were there. No.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's one of those benchmarks, isn't it? How far have we come? We got that win against Wealdstone, which we'd not managed in our 2 seasons in this division, which is a bit grim. Whoever's Fylde fans saying that, they're obviously having a laugh because they're a proper tin pot club compared to the mighty Oldham. So we've got to be turning them over. I think it'll be tight. I don't think but I'll go for I'm going to go for 2-0. I don't think we're going to concede a goal till Christmas.
Big statement.
That's just massive.
If anyone listening is umming and ahhing, get to Boundary Park on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Matt Dean will buy you a pint as well.
He will definitely buy you a pint, yes.
So you've heard it here first, folks.
I'm talking about Matt Dean from BBC Humberside, of course. Not me. Right, let's call it quits. We are all happy. Everyone listening to this podcast is happy. We're happy. There is nothing to fear. Everything is absolutely as it should be in the world of Latics. Things could not be better at this stage in the season. We've won 2 out of 2. We've scored 4. We've conceded none. it's as good as it gets. Thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you yesterday and again today.
Yeah,
Dave, we'll see you on Wednesday.
You most certainly will, sir.
But the big question is, will it be 9 points out of 9?